Yep, all good. And I'm also going to use a timer for this. So I'm going to go ahead and get the first 3 minutes started.
Oh, that's great. Okay, I have a timer too. Okay, I'm going to call us to attention for to kick off the unsession. If everyone can take your seats and we can get started. And for those online, if you're ready. And then online, I think you've probably posted the link to the Google Doc, right? So the first couple of things that I'd like to mention, I'm going first, is we talk, for those of you who weren't here yesterday, the Oscar Awards are a new set of awards that we launched yesterday. And we have 3 folks that we recognized for institutional program and individual excellence in the use and adaptation and implementation of Oscar. And so I invite you with the link that you see there to learn more about the Oscar Awards and to join the Oscar user group, which you see is there on the 3rd item that I wanted to chat about. Please click on the link and join the Oscar user group, and that will help us to develop some community and conversations around the use of Oscar. And then we will draw folks from that pool of interested people, both internal to SUNY as well as external to SUNY, to help us implement the Oscar Awards next year. I also wanted to promote the Oscar webinar series and certifications for those internal to SUNY as well as external to SUNY. We are more formally and sort of cyclically implementing these webinars and offering the opportunities for certification at the individual faculty level, at the reviewer level, so anyone interested in being a reviewer or peer reviews, and then also at the trainer level. So if you want to train others and want to have a certification from us as a trainer. So please, the next one is coming up in a few weeks, and we invite you to the webinars. They are free of any charge. And free to anyone within SUNY for the certification. There is a small fee for anyone outside of SUNY who is interested in certification. The webinars are free, though. I also wanted to mention that we, I think Dan mentioned this yesterday, but for those who weren't here yesterday, we were recognized with a WOW award from WCET for the SUNY plus, the COIL plus Oscar standards. And if you are unfamiliar with that, there's a link there on the Oscar website. You can go learn more about some of the additional standards that we added to Oscar related to virtual exchange. Sorry. So take a look at those, and the award is right here on the desk. If you're interested in seeing the actual physical award, but there's also stuff online on the Oscar website about that award. And probably Hope, if she's in the room virtually, could talk a little bit more about that. I also wanted to mention the DLE lore. The SUNY DLE lore was launched in January, and that's the Learning Object Repository. This is now available across the SUNY system of DLE campuses to share information across campuses. And so I'm sure you've heard, if you're within SUNY, you've heard a little bit about that project, but I just wanted to mention it, and I provided a link there. If you're not familiar with this, you can go and find out more information about that. The other thing that I wanted to mention was about the online, the SUNY online teaching courses for observation. We will be launching that. I'm promoting this really for the first time here at the summit. We have a series of 11 or 12 courses across the SUNY DLE that were nominated by their campus instructional design staff as exemplars, and they are in Brightspace. They use our templates, our DLE templates, and you all will have access. Those of you within the DLE will have access to observe these courses for your uses with online faculty development, with individual faculty, just looking at courses either in their discipline or across disciplines. So I want to let you know that this option is now available. You can learn more about this program from the link that's there in the Google Doc. And then if you are interested, there's a couple of options that you need to submit a ticket to because it's all organized at the campus level. So you'll need to opt into a particular option. And so I invite you to check out the information and to choose which option you would like in order to make these courses for observation available to your faculty. There are links under that How to Observe that will list all of the courses from all the different disciplines and all the different institutions so that you can see. And we have a wonderful variety of courses at different levels from the variety of sectors so that you can have a look at and use as exemplars and examples in your faculty development work, or if you're an individual instructor and want to see what others have designed, you can take a look at these courses. Okay, and I'm done. Erin, it's your turn.
Week, which starts Monday. And some of the great topics, title presentations are utilizing elements of online engagement as a strategy for reflection, student perceptions on digital reading, using AI in mental health counseling classes online, very interesting, an experiment using ATI in lieu of a textbook, the evolving OER landscape, new projects and updates from Brockport, and group work for diverse classrooms. So there is a link there to go to the page with all of these listed and their times, and I hope that you will sign up. It does require registration, but they're all free. And the second thing I'm promoting are the SUNY online teaching webinars. So beginning in March, we will have one on Microsoft Copilot that Alex is leading. We will also have one on AI assignments for students, examples from a community of practice. This is going to be led by a team of faculty from Oneonta. And the final one for spring is Intro to COIL. So you can come and learn a little bit more about COIL that Alex mentioned. Hope Widow, who is the coordinator, is going to be presenting on that with some of her team as well. So there's the link to sign up for the online teaching webinars. Thank you.
Okay.
So I happened to mention at a recent EIT meeting that I had found something that seems to be working fairly well in mitigating issues with PDFs and PowerPoints and other things that we're finding on our learning management system because we're leveraging the Ally functionality in there. The way it all started was I was approached by our coordinator of internships last spring. And he said he had a student that he was working with that was attending college through the Access VR program. It's a job placement, employment support, as best I understand it, an employment support system for neurodivergent people. So he introduced me to this person that he wanted me to consider having as an intern and focusing on accessibility issues. And I said, well, sure, you know, there was no cost to it. So it didn't have to affect my budget or anything. And it was for the summer, which is a fairly relatively easy time compared to during the year at the college. So I took this young man on, and the first thing I had him do was go to DeCue University's website and cover all the courses on mitigating issues with electronic documents. I figured it was going to take him a week or two to get through it, and I told him, you know, take as long as you want. It's you know, you've got the summer. Well, 3 days later, he came back to me and said, I'm done. I'm ready. What do you want me to do next? So I started just to check to see how well he had comprehended all of this. I had him take one of my courses, and most of the PDFs in my courses were fine, but there were a few that were, you know, going into the orange and one that was actually in the red. And within a half hour, he came back and said, okay, I'm all done. What's next? So I worked with him throughout the summer, and I was very impressed with his work. I put out an email to faculty in the fall and said, I actually found out that this kid qualified for work study. And so he worked for me 10, 15 hours a week for the fall semester. And I sent out a message to all faculty saying, I've got this person who can help you mitigate issues with your electronic documentation. And I had about a dozen folks respond to it. So we wanted to be careful not to mess with live sites. So we I created development sites. We have a process for doing that at Plattsburgh. I'm sure you all have something similar. I created development sites, and then as the Brightspace administrator, I would import the content from the live sites into there, and then give the student faculty access to the development site. And he would go in and using the Ally interface, that's it, I'm out. But I'll tell you, if you are interested in learning more about this, they're playing me off. I love it. If you're interested in learning more about this, JLOCK004 at plattsburgh.edu, and I will be happy to send you buku information about how it's working out and how I'm not sure it's going to be scalable, but that's kind of what I'm hoping we can do. Thank you.
Just running through a couple of things, and John and any other presenters, if you haven't yet, I recommend throwing your email on the Unsession sign up. That way everybody can have easy access to get to you. One of the things that we are currently working on at Jefferson is actually providing every single course with a course template for consistency across. And so a couple of things that we are putting in there. I have shown this off before, I think, but we have a shared references widget that is part of our course and actually our college homepage. So it gives access to a lot of our things like our library and let students know how to get to the library, some of their services, things like that, academic support services, accommodative services, a lot of those things that as you look at Oscar and just good practice, right? It's students need to have ready access to. So that's one of the things that we have in our course template and actually in all of our courses, regardless. One of the other things that we're doing is in our course materials section in that template, we have a how to access your materials document. But if you notice, it's not a document, it's a link. So it's what we're actually doing with this is actually using our lore for this so that faculty have a baked in document on how to let students know. And that's not necessarily meaning that they have to use that one, but that's kind of there by default for them. So that's one of the things. And likewise, we also have a lore document about setting up access to the materials for the students so that the instructors can understand the differences between our first day access through Barnes and Noble and publisher content and anything else that they happen to want to do. And because these are lore documents, as we update that information, the newest versions will always be available to them. The other thing that I did, we have an instructor resources area. This is based off of the SUNY asynchronous template that they put out a while ago. But one of the other things that I put in that is available from D2L, and again, I've put this in our lore, is the quiz question converter, because now that we are pushing more of our faculty, even for face-to-face courses, to do more in Brightspace, a lot of them are coming up and, how do I put these tests that I've developed over years and years into the system? Do I have to type everything else out? So that quiz question converter is sitting there, and that's my time. If any of that sounds interesting and you want to know how to do it, please let me know.
Okay, Colleen Kaminsky, I think you're here in the room. If you want to come up. Are you going to share anything on your screen? Can you put the Unsession link, actually, no, just we'll have Colleen talk.
At SUNY Broome, we, like everyone, want to ensure that faculty have content and things to make their classes accessible. And we do training workshops, but what some of my colleagues have done, Robert Becker being one of them and Corinne Sturdy, is create a course in Brightspace called DCAFT, and it stands for Digital Content Accessibility Faculty Training. And it's a certificate that faculty can earn, And it's self-paced, it's asynchronous, and there are modules on UDL, on converting documents, PDFs, to make them accessible. It's asynchronous. They can do it anytime. Are there knowledge checks, Robert? I did it. Yeah. I think I did it a year and a half ago when it came out. And so there's a lot of content in there to help faculty so they don't have to attend a workshop. So if they need a refresher on just one thing, they can go to it. And another thing in there that we're really pushing at Broome is PowerPoint to Pages, is what we call it. We are discouraging faculty from uploading PowerPoints into Brightspace. We are asking them to use the templates in Brightspace to build out their content. They can give more information than just bullet points from a PowerPoint and things like that. And based on how the PowerPoints are created, yesterday we learned that it's only reading the outline. So by converting their PowerPoints to pages, and we've had workshops on that, they're using accordions, tabs, 2 columns, tables, all kinds of things in Brightspace and in the elements, and using those templates and creating pages that have all their content instead of the PowerPoint. Also, they're using, a lot of them are using ChatGPT to help explain different things. So examples might be, I know Corinne uses it a lot for coding and to explain a different concept when you're teaching HTML, or I've used it in Principles of Management. Describe a decision tree and give me an image of one. And then I'm able to put that into Brightspace instead of just having a slide of it. So it's been very helpful. And we have a lot of certificates faculty have earned. So thank you.
Thanks, Connie. Robert Becker is up next. And can you introduce yourself?
Hi, Robert Becker, SUNY Broome. What I want to introduce you to is SUNY Broome AI Academy. We are currently in our 3rd cohort. The Academy is 4 sessions, hour-long, covering half a semester, so bi-weekly. And we start with foundations, getting started, and that session actually grew out of Fact 2 presentation, CIT presentation, outreach requests from Schenectady, Brockport, and Corning to run sessions for them. And then as it grew, it developed into a 2nd session on content creation, augmentation of your existing content. Added a 3rd on gradable activities, refreshing your assessments, getting new ideas for assessments, discussions in classroom activities. And then the 4th session would be refreshing your course. What do you need to do when your course has run its lifespan and it's time to refresh it, rebuild it, react to the situation, what we're seeing now in the digital learning environment or in the live environment in classroom. And then that one, we also get into what would happen if you had to build a course from scratch. Throughout it, I've weaved in things like getting AI to help us with concepts of RSI, points you see in OSCAR, other ideas, Gagne's 9 events of instruction, Bloom's taxonomy. So I found a way to interweave these concepts into a topic that our instructors are trying to navigate very quickly. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Jeff Dugan, are you in here? You want to come up?
I think Jeff is online, Alex.
No.
Oh, both.
He's coming.
No problem. Sorry, I see him in Zoom too, so just making sure.
Hey, Jeff Dugan. That's how the microphone works. Jeff Dugan, Assistant Director of Online Learning at FLCC. I am going to share with you, maybe, come on. I want to share, so right now at Finger Lakes, we are running a AI think tank where we are looking at different tools for both pedagogical practices in the classroom, but also for our staff and faculty to use professionally. And one that's come up quite a bit, if I can get this to share, if not, I'll just talk about it, is Notebook LM. Has anyone had familiarity with Notebook LM? this whole table right here. They've all figured it out. It is a program by Google. I know another thing to have to worry about, but this is a very interesting one that you sign in. You could just put a Google search for Notebook LM and you create your own language model. That's what LM stands for. So you create your own chatbot with just a couple of sources. And what's interesting for the educational point of this is you put your syllabus in, a couple of assignments, and you can talk to your class and say, how am I doing based on these learning outcomes? And it'll say, maybe do this or maybe do that. It will have a conversation with you. And what's really nice about the environment is that that chat is ephemeral. It doesn't stay. So you only have certain sessions with this. It's not an ongoing scroll maybe you're used to in other formats. I just think this is really interesting. And if I could get the share to work, I would show off how I put in our annual report from this conference we got in hard and paperback form, and I can have a conversation now with that annual report and get some feedback, get a briefing guide, get some study guides, but also get a podcast. So the last part of this is really interesting, is it does a generative podcast, 2 speakers, male and female generic speakers that will have a conversation about whatever the sources you told it to have. So I think that's really interesting. Do yourself a favor, just go play with it. Notebook LM, do a Google search. You'll sign in with a Google account, and you're off to the races. Grab a couple PDFs you don't want to read right now that are just too long. Sorry. It's going to be really fun to read after I have listened to a podcast about it, I'm sure. And put it right in and ask it questions. And you'll find it actually will prompt you with some questions as well to get you started. So I'm 30 seconds ahead. I win. Any other questions or comments on Notebook LM? I will. Yeah. And my email's in there too. If you want to ask questions, I'm happy to give you a quick tutorial because I couldn't share it here. So cool.
Good. Okay.
Hi. So I'll get going. So my name is Mark Madsen. I am a senior lecturer of civil engineering technology at SUNY Polytechnic Institute, and I enjoy making online content. You're seeing me. That's okay. You can see me. Is that on the screen?
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I wanted to demonstrate is just seamless scene transfers. Because one of the things that is difficult sometimes is when you have to pause and stop a share. But OBS is a program that's open source, that's easily downloadable. It's free, but it's one of those programs that you can use and adapt however you want. So you might be thinking, man, you're too big there. And I can make myself smaller so that I can actually point to things and keep the students engaged with the live feed. Now, it doesn't end there because this is kind of fun because actually all you need is OBS and I'll show you just a green screen, nothing really crazy. But once you get this, you can also change it. So you can change scenes to something like a document camera. So here's a document camera. I can write, I can talk, I can interact with the students. So this helps just maintain that continuity of connection with the students. Or, you know, if I want to, I can also come back and bring up maybe another screen that I can write on here. So perhaps I have some math equations that I want to do. 1 + 2 equals, and I can even bring up that calculator that you saw earlier. So 1 + 2 = 3. So hopefully we knew that. But what I just wanted to share real quick is I just wanted to demonstrate some of those features because I think that it's just one of those things where if you can keep a constant engagement with your students, it makes it a little bit better. So using OBS should help with that. It's not a crazy software to learn. There's an interface that you have to deal with. But if you have more questions, I'd be happy to talk to you or perhaps even do a session on how to get started. So if you're interested, my email is up here and we'll talk. So thanks.
Sounds awesome, Mark. Thanks so much for sharing that cool tool. Would you put a link to that in the Google Doc so that we can go and learn more about the tool? And then we should chat about maybe having you do another demo for us for a broader audience at another time. That would be awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. So thank you so much.
Okay.
And I'm Jana Porter. I'm with actually CUNY, and I'm down at the Bronx Community College. I just started in January as a reference and instructional design librarian. And what motivated me to create this AI library workshop was that during my second interview with the provost, he said AI is disruptive. And I'm like, well, what am I going to work on when I first come to this job? So I've created an online workshop, which is a directed discovery for the students. So some people were talking about for faculty. This is designed so that we're going to do 4 sessions for students in March. And so I will show that if I can. Let's see, I'm going to share my screen, my desktop, entire screen. Okay, it doesn't seem like I can do that. Allow Zoom. I got to actually open my settings. I wasn't ready for this. Maybe I should just talk. I have on the handout the actual LibGuide URL, and it is available. But some of what I wanted to talk about, which I think since I have 3 minutes, I am just going to talk instead of showing you that, unless someone could pull it up from there. I would, yeah, a little distracted, sorry. I wanted to talk about the embedded interactive features of this. It is something called H5P, and you can get these from a community of people who are creating them. So the ones that I have used in this library guide are ones that were from a couple of different places. And one is from a place in the Netherlands that's created a whole AI for students. Oh, wow, you did it. Thank you so much for doing that. And if you're not aware of library guides, this is our kind of miniature website that we create in libraries. And there are so many uses of these. And as someone who's doing instructional design, I've really tried to make it interactive for the students. So if you go to like the page that is called Ethics Matter, I think, that one shows some of these interactive features that are made with H5P. And all you need is this embed code, and you could actually take this from my site and grab it for whomever you want, as long as you can embed something. And so, and that AI and sustainability one on the left was the one that I went through myself, and I'm like, I need to have a measured approach to AI. So there's AI hype, right? Like, oh, we got to use this. But there's also, this part, especially librarians that I've been talking to are a little scared of AI. But yeah, thank you. And I'd love for anybody to reach out to me if you're doing work, especially librarians. And yeah, thanks for letting me do that and getting that on to the screen for me.
And I just wanted to take this opportunity to test the waters to see if anyone is interested in collaborating on faculty development modules to help train teachers that are new to online teaching. Our project stems from a SUNY meeting last month where a colleague asked if anyone in the meeting had training resources for this very need. Their college didn't. And several SUNY schools said they did have them. Others said they didn't. Others said that they use canned products like BizFax and LinkedIn Learning. And I was thinking at that time, at Alfred, we are in the process of revamping ours. Ours are only 7 or 8 years old, which really doesn't seem like that old unless we think about the tremendous changes in like AI and accessibility that have happened in the last 7 year, 8 years. And so our thoughts for this project are to get a very wide perspective across several SUNY schools, maybe looking to augment theory with practice, looking for a teacher's voice, not just IDs and directors of online learning. Also the idea of looking for discipline-specific best practices. And if anyone's interested in that, I did put my email address on the Unsession form, and I'll throw it in the chat as well.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity. So I am here, just want to showcase and share some of the events that Buffalo State has coming up, our student accessibility services. So you guys all, majority of you know, Sumana Silverheels has been working diligently to create different opportunities for our students. So I didn't put it on the Unsession, but it's on the link. We have on March 19th, it's called Flame the Band, Harmony for All, Music Without Disabilities. So that is in the evening if you are local and want to go ahead and come in for that. We also have a neurodivergent Empowering Educators and Supporting Students conference that is a full day from 10 to 2, so that registration is there. And then we have the Beyond Compliance, so technology and accessibility in higher education. And so many of the presenters will be coming from many of our SUNY colleagues, which again is a full day conference that is free at Buffalo State. We do have lodging set up at the state rate at the Richardson Hotel. So if you are familiar with the old Buffalo Psychiatric Center, that is the hotel that we did get the state rate for. So hopefully many of you will be able to come to Buffalo. We're hoping that in March and April, the weather will not be snowy, that you can come and join us for those events. So the link is on the Unsession, and we hope to see you there.
Megan, are those going to be streamed live as well?
I do not think so.
Okay.
I can double check with Sumana, but I do not believe she is planning on having those streamed.
Okay, all right, no problem. Thanks for the links and for info in the Google Doc. And I think Chris Price is up next. Chris?
Hey everyone, Chris Price, SUNY Center for Professional Development. I'm going to beat Jeff. I'm going to go less time than Jeff did, so I win, Jeff. Data literacy, you need it, I need it, we all need it. CPD has a certificate program now on data literacy. Links in the Google Doc. It's a 2-course sequence. First course is Data Fundamentals, being taught by Ahmad Pratama, who's the data literacy librarian at Stony Brook. And then the second course is on communicating with data, storytelling with data. Sammy Garris from Plattsburgh is a faculty member there who's teaching that. I think he's a former SUNY Online ambassador or winner of some award that we give out here. And anyway, so the first sequence is going on now, but it's full. Second sequence will be this summer, and there are a few seats left in those courses. And if it's really popular, we'll do it again in the fall. Thanks.
Chris, before you go, talk about you still have time. We've got 2 minutes. There's an event that you're doing that you need people to sign up for in Broome area. Isn't there a conference that
We do a lot, Alex. I don't remember.
Okay.
Sorry. Megan will figure it out and put it online. And Megan, you could present on it. Get on the agenda.
I'll use your remaining minute and 51 seconds.
All right. Kristen Hall from Stony Brook. Where are you? There you are. Hi, Kristen. Dan, what's that event? We were talking about it yesterday.
Hi, everyone. I actually wanted to call out 2 of my colleagues who are doing wonderful things. So I am not responsible for these things, but they are doing wonderful things. So we have launched a SELT journal in our office, and this is being launched by our educational researcher, Dr. Yaron Kong, and they just released their first issue this year, and they are welcoming submissions ongoing. So if you have anything that you would like to be considered for publication, please look at our journal. The other thing I wanted to mention is our new course content accessibility specialist, Lindsay Bride, is amazing. And she has created a bunch of e-learning tutorials that we have on our website that cover a variety of different topics, Google, Microsoft, PDF, basics, some things about Brightspace, alt text, long descriptions, videos, and some Title II updates. There's actually more on there. And these are short e-learning guides that are available on our website for anybody to look at. So if you want to just direct your faculty to some of those, feel free to do so. But some really good things that are going on in our office from my colleagues. Thanks.
Okay. Dan, what was the name of that conference? Digital Humanities Conference? Does that digital literacy, does that ring any bells? That rings some bells. Can you put the link to that under your section, Chris, so that people can know about it and sign up for it? Is it free? Free for SUNY? Is it? in person in Binghamton, New York in March. So I just wanted to promote that and encourage folks to attend it. Chris, you'll put the link to it in your section, okay? I don't see anyone else signed up, so I'm going to start calling on folks unless someone in the room or virtually would like to just raise their hand and go ahead and say, oh, Kim, thank you. Yes.
So yesterday I talked about setting priorities for where we invest our people, time, effort, etc. I'll put a link. I'll put a request in the Google Doc for this. But one of the things that I and we, the DS leadership team, would like to hear are what are the needs on the campuses at the campus level? Where do you have challenges that you're trying to address? Where do you want support or need support from sysadmin? Where would university-wide initiatives or solutions be helpful? So I want to just try to collect that. And when we have conferences and events like this, I'm going to be asking those questions. So you'll probably hear me ask it again. I have to actually create an input form, but I'll do that and I'll put that in the Google Doc. And so look for that and please respond. How's that?
Okay. Anyone else virtually who would like to share something cool that you're doing? Did you see anything in the chat? Who's helping me in the chat?
It's me. No, oh, sorry,
Megan.
Megan, not just me.
Megan, I see you. I see you.
I don't see anything yet, but folks, you can feel free to raise your hand or put something in the chat.
Okay. All right. Anyone in the room that wants to come up and share something? Jamie Heron, I'm sorry to call on you, but I'm sure there's something going on cool with training that you'd like to come up and share. Come on. Thank you. I am going to call on people. She's coming.
Okay, thanks. So I don't really have anything new to announce because it was kind of covered in multiple points yesterday about the Otter Institute, which is the online teaching technology and educational resources. It's the accessibility version or edition this year, which is kind of exciting. And the plan is to have the design session in June and the delivery session in August as standard, and to have some students coming forward and talking about their experiences with accessibility and how we can speak with them, you know, along the lines of our earlier presentation to make them feel more included in our classrooms. The next thing I guess I could talk to you about today is the SUNY IQ or SUNY Inclusion Quest, which is going to be hopefully a fun game for a year, but with lots of good lessons with it. And I shouldn't have sort of run up here because I'm winded or nervous, which is weird. But anyway, so we're going to start with a series of webinars about what the Title II guideline changes are, what that means to you in your particular role. We're going to have specific webinars for larger groups of constituencies, for example, technical content creators, procurement officers, et cetera, all along the range. You're going to be able to find your role in at least one or more of these groups. And then we're going to send people through DeQ where they can compete for the number of certificates they earn from DeQ. And then we'll have the third phase, which is the implementation. So you understand why it's important. You now understand how to make the accessibility changes to your things within your role that you're responsible for. And then we want to see how your ally score changes, how your PowerPoint score changes in terms of accessibility for all of your stuff, et cetera. So hopefully it'll be a little bit fun and we'll have a good time. We're going to have some freebies to hand out and maybe some computer stickers, which is my vote. But at any rate, that's what we've got this year. And let me know if you need anything else.
Are they available to non-SUNY people?
The
Otter or the
Otter's available to everybody, right? For non-SUNY folks, Otter has a $25 surcharge, and that's just to cover registration processes and whatnot. But Otter is free to SUNY faculty and staff. And the SUNY IQ I don't know. I don't know that we've talked about non-SUNY, but it's the thing with DeQ is we have a license for SUNY.
Oh,
DeQ
yeah,
would have
so
to be
that's-
something that they would have to do themselves. Yeah.
All right, great.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I put you in the Google Doc. Can you fill it out with any links? Okay. Thank you, Jamie. All right, who else? Donna, what's going on at, you knew I was going to call on you. You knew it, right? I was looking right at you. What's going on at Niagara? And if anyone is, oh, Steve
Yeah, I
Sturman.
was just about to say, Alex, we do have Steve.
Yep, we'll go to him next.
Okay. We have been very busy with a lot of stuff going on, but it's not really our department related. The one big thing that we did do over the last few months was work with a new department head, Dr. Megan Schutte, and she came on with she did a special thing with her doctorate program for making content diverse. So we worked with her through our department to take a syllabus template and make it more inclusive. She helped us change the language on it and make sure that certain things for the campus were included in it that she was still learning about, which was kind of nice. It gave us a chance to see through a brand new person what they would be looking for, what they needed, things like that. And she also had many brand new faculty in her department because of all the changeovers. So it gave us a perspective that we did not have since Lisa and I've been in the department for many years. And we made sure, one of my goals was to make sure that the document was 100% ADA compliant. So at least before the faculty started making changes to it, they had a working document. So that's what we had going on. Okay.
Thanks so much, Donna. I put your name in the Google chat. If you could add a little bit about what you talked about, that would be very helpful. And I see that, did Steve Sturman have something he wanted to say?
Yeah. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I am working with Robin Sullivan, who recently retired from UB. And she and I are working on a framework for developing virtual reality based instructional materials and simulations. So she and I are looking at adult learning theories and developing a framework that instructional designers will be able to pick up and use to start thinking about how virtual reality can be used to support learning. It's going to be based upon adult learning theories, specifically experiential and situational and social learning theories, and how to integrate those into your thinking about using virtual reality. And then also providing ADDIE specific considerations that you want to think about as you are thinking about integrating virtual reality into teaching applications. So we're working on this now. We're hoping to have that out sometime before the end of the year. It's going to be a big project, but hopefully for people thinking about using VR and not having a lot of experience with it, it'll provide a good roadmap for you to think about how to effectively integrate virtual reality into whatever content you're developing.
Great. Thanks, Steve. I added you to the Google Doc. If you wouldn't mind going into the Google Doc and kind of just, giving a recap, summarizing what you chatted about. If you have any links, that would be really helpful. Ann Miller has her hand raised virtually. Hi, Ann.
Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm missing you all. I wish I could be there in person. I just raised my hand to talk about a new process that I'm developing at SUNY Sullivan, and I'm guessing other folks have this already on their campus, but I'm trying to centralize and coordinate the acquisition of external tools that also meet, like, not just campus policy, but accessibility standards as well. So I'm creating a new document that walks the requester through a series of questions designed to help them think about the pedagogy of the tool that they're requesting, the accessibility features of it, and the security features of it as well. so this is campus wide, and I'm working with the IT director and IR director to actually incorporate it as part of our SIS. We use Genzabar, not Banner, but so that it's a form flow there. So all of this data can then be collected and used in all of our program reporting. So it's kind of a big project. It came out of my UDL course that I took in the fall. And I just wanted to share that if anyone is interested in things like that. I've got something going on.
Thanks, Anne. Thank you, Anne. All right, let me check the time here. We have 5 more minutes. Anyone virtually oh, Kim. No, go for it. Kim's going to say something else.
So I don't think this has been mentioned here. So apologies if I did mention it yesterday, I can't remember, but we have a change leadership community of practice that we have been supporting since the implementation of the DLE. It started out in the context of the digital learning environment, but it has broadened now to other topics. It has been facilitated by Andrea Wade, who's the former Chief Academic Officer at Monroe and was also at Broome Community College. We're continuing that monthly series where we have a Viva Engage group that will be utilizing. And so I just wanted to make sure that this group all knows about that and invite you to participate in that. Some of you have engaged in that. Ryan and Danielle have been helpful in trying to facilitate some of those sessions. Andrea will be with us continuing to do this through this academic year, and then we're going to be transitioning it over to myself, and Jennifer Miller will be providing that support going forward. But I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of it. I will put a link to a page that we have on the DS website that talks about this, and I don't know if it's there yet, but I think we're adding a link to join the Viva Engage group, and that will help you get invited to sessions in the future. So we're still kind of getting some of those pieces in place, but I did want to mention it and let everybody know about it. Thanks.
Thanks. Okay, we have 3 minutes left. Who has one cool thing, either virtually or here in the room, that they are burning to share with us? Anyone online? 1 minute overview of my dissertation. So it is on epistemic beliefs and their influence on something that I call pedagogical affinity, and it is to try and understand the differences between STEM and non-STEM faculty, and to try and better understand faculty resistance to online and faculty pedagogical approaches in online education. Thanks for that, Chris. Somebody write that down. That's my abstract. Okay, so I think we are at, I can't even see. All right, I'm blurry on the screen and I'm blurry here. Jeremy, one cool thing that's going on at Monroe. Where's the, yeah.
It's on. I have no clue.
Come on, one cool thing you are working on, or Andrea's working on, or Terry's working on, something cool.
Well, I don't know. I'm all over the place right now. So, and
Okay.
it's kind of keeping my head above the water. So
Okay.
I will politely decline
Okay.
here. Yeah.
Dan, one cool thing.
One cool thing, just one. I want to put another plug in for the campus visits related to the DLE. We've made it to a couple dozen campuses. We would love to come to your campus. Like I said yesterday, we have, we are anxious to get out and see what people are up to. So if you are all interested, please reach out. We'll bring moose, right? So we would love to make it out to your campus. Thanks.
That was a cool thing. Thank you very much. Can you add that to the Google Doc? Jeremy, I won't have you add that you didn't have anything to share, but if you think of anything that you'd like to share, please add it to the Google Doc. So we are just about at time. Megan, I'm sorry, Aaron, I can't see the program. What's coming next? Is it a break next? And then the online ambassadors? The online learner panel. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I can't get to the program. So we're going to take a 15-minute break at 11:15. We'll come back at 11:30 for the online learner panel. It's so exciting. We always love, it's